First and foremost, India is bringing the legacy of the New Delhi Leaders Declaration. India has had a very ambitious and a forward-looking Leaders Declaration. Brazil is a global South country, and this is the first time that 4 global South countries, Indonesia, India, Brazil and South Africa, will be holding the G20 all-emerging market. India has played a very critical, very significant and a very prominent role as a Troika member. We've assisted and supported Brazil. African Union entry is a very significant contribution of India. First and foremost, India is bringing the legacy of the New Delhi Leaders Declaration, because India has had a very ambitious and a forward-looking Leaders Declaration. A number of issues relating to strong sustainable growth, the Sustainable Development Goals, technological transformation, women-led development and Green Development Pact. All those issues figure very prominently in some way or the other, and New Delhi Declaration has been a constant point of reference because it was progressive and forward-looking and ambitious and had many of the visions of the Prime Minister in terms of the lifestyle for sustainability, in terms of leaving no one behind, in terms of sustainable growth, and in terms of lifting people above poverty and hunger. And all those things are getting reflected in the Brazilian presidency.
Right. So you also had deliberation, late night deliberation, and the negotiation took place. So what were the focus areas this time, if you see, what were the issues which the negotiation?
So we've had non-stop about 32 hours of negotiation, non-stop. Nobody has slept. We've just come back from the negotiations, and there have been very intense discussion around geopolitics and around climate. And these discussions are going on, still going on. And hopefully we should be able to, I'm always positive and optimistic because Brazil is a global South country, and this is the first time that 4 global South countries, Indonesia, India, Brazil and South Africa, will be holding the G20 all-emerging markets. And it's important that we all work together. We are a member of the Troika, so we provide all help and assistance to Brazil. And our objective is that we should be able to arrive at a consensus.
In the New Delhi Declaration, the conflicts were mentioned and they were addressed. In this declaration, will there be a stress on that, any negotiation regarding that as well, sir?
No, so the contentious issues are geopolitics, because after India's presidency, we have had a conflict in Middle East, which has had a huge humanitarian dimension. So that issue is also being discussed here. But G20 is preeminently a forum for economic growth. It's for development, it's for growth, it's for progress. And the challenge is that while we discuss climate, there are climate detailed negotiations going on in Baku. Under no circumstances do we want to impact those detailed deliberations. And therefore, we discuss climate at a high-level principle, like we did last year, like tripling of renewable energy or doubling of energy efficiency, etc. So that has been done.
Right. You talked about the Troika. What has been India's role as a Troika? So how prominent you looked at?
India has played a very critical, very significant and a very prominent role as a Troika member. We've assisted and supported Brazil. Our job is to see that we provide all assistance. We provide intellectual support. We provide, in terms of when there is a logjam, we help them, we support them. And therefore, we've worked in partnership with both Brazil and South Africa.
What kind of language we can expect in the declarations?
So the language is a function of the local leadership, which in this case is Brazil. We've always maintained that the G20 language must be growth-oriented, must be citizen-centric, must be based on leaving no one behind, but should also be forward-looking in terms of technology, must be forward-looking in terms of the advancement that is taking place in terms of artificial intelligence, generative AI, and also in terms of women-led development, which was a major contribution of the Prime Minister of India during India's presidency.
The last question, of course, AU is going to take part in it, and because India is the voice of the global South, how prominent India will raise up the issues in that region, of that region?
So India played a very critical, significant role during its presidency to bring AU as a member of G20. So it is officially G21 now. And with that, it is responsible for about 85% of the global GDP. It is accountable for about 80% of the global trade, almost 85% of the global population. And AU coming in has a very significant impact because it brings in about 45 countries of Africa as a member of G20. And I found AU playing a very positive and constructive role during the Sherpa discussions. And AU in the coming years will be a major center for growth and progress. All 3/4 of the growth will come from emerging markets in the future. And therefore, African Union entry is a very significant contribution of India.